on. So it's go time here. So I ask all my my podcast guests this first question. So I'll ask you it as well. What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I'm having it right now. Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. Simple. Now, anything fancy in that coffee? Is it just black? You got any creamers in there?
I put collagen powder in it.
Well, now that's a first. I haven't had that answer. Okay. All right.
I got coffee and collagen.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the new Wheaties, right? To get the
I know. Everybody's using collagen for everything.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm always shocked at these answers. The last time, my last interview, I was interviewing somebody who actually crowdfunded a breakfast oatmeal. So I was like, oh, she's had to have had her own oatmeal. She's like, no, I don't eat my own oatmeal. It's like, well,
what?
So, threw me off.
Huh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. This interview is going to go different. So, but cool. Awesome. Well, why don't you start out by telling my listeners, who you are and what your Kickstarter project is right now.
Sure. So, my name is James. I'm one of the members of Woolly Clothing, which is a merino wool-based clothing company. And we have a campaign live right now called the NatureDry Jacket by Woolly, which is it's our attempt to make a all-weather, all-natural jacket. It's 100% merino wool. It's a unique fabrication technique where you stretch the wool, weave it, and then release it, and it creates a super dense weave that is highly water resistant, really windproof, and makes a great jacket. And so we want to replace all the plastic and synthetic jackets in people's closets with wool. I don't think people, a lot of people think about plastic in their lives. They don't want to use plastic bottles, this and that. They want to use reusable water containers. Most of the coats people wear are nylon, polyurethane, and I don't think people know about that or think about that. So we're trying to change that.
That's awesome. So for our listeners who can't see it or haven't been to the page yet, kind of walk us through kind of what this looks like, maybe best uses for it, so they can maybe get a picture in their mind of it.
Sure. So we have two. We launched with 2 styles, and we just added women's. So now we have 2 for men, 1 for women. And our idea was, it's not really like a technical shell. So you're not trying to replace your coat or your Gore-Tex, super heavy duty coat. It's a round town coat. It's lined. It's pretty warm. It's a good urban jacket for wearing to work, wearing to the grocery store, walking your dog, taking your kids to daycare, that kind of thing. And all of our clothes, really our company's mission or idea is to make every stuff out of merino, which used to be like really a backpacking and traveling and sort of technical fabric, and we want to make just everyday stuff with it. So you'd wear to the office and to anywhere. And so this coat is sort of just a natural extension of that idea.
That's cool. How about like color choices? Like what are some of the offerings happening right now?
Gotcha. Right now we have black, charcoal, and light heather gray. And we are hoping to go for a blue if we can get this campaign to get to about $500,000. That's what our MOQs would require. So we're trying to get for it so we can get one more cool color. The problem is nobody ever buys anything except for black and gray. So anytime we try to make colors like this one, they just so,
nope, not doing it.
Dude, it's brutal. I love wearing colors, but basically customers tell you with their dollars that they just want black. For the years, it's kind of it's what we've ended up making is just a ton of black shirts.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's sort of the start? Where did this idea kind of come to fruition? How long ago? Like, what was sort of the inspiration to start down this journey?
For the coat?
Yeah, for the coat. Yep.
I think it started. We have a wool cut and sew partner in China, and then they work with Woolmark and Woolmark certified wool suppliers from around the world. And every once in a while, they'll just send us new stuff. Like, hey, there's this new sample of this kind of fabric. What do you guys want to do with it, or do you have any ideas? And 90% of the time, it's like, okay, interesting. We don't really have any ideas. It's like really, it's for sweaters or sort of typical wool applications. And then they sent us this new fabric that we ended up using for this coat. And we were just kind of like, first of all, it didn't feel anything like wool. It feels kind of like canvas or like a lightweight denim. I couldn't believe that it was wool. And
I
then we
think
put
that's
it
actually
under the
like
faucet.
when you keep saying wool, it almost it creates in my mind something that you go to the page and you're like, nope, that's not wool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The videos don't like, even when I look at the video still, I'm just like, it's weird that that's wool. Like, especially,
Yeah.
because I wear wool every day. It just kind of, it still weirds me out. But, we got the fabric, we were playing with it, and then we put it under the faucet, and it just, it's like Gore-Tex, water runs right off it. So we just kind of sat there for a while thinking like, we got to do something with this. This is the coolest thing we've seen in a while. And so we thought about pants, we thought about shoes, we thought about backpacks. We eventually landed on jackets as kind of the most effective way to bring it to market, more in line with our company. And so it took us about a year to go from idea to Kickstarter ready prototype. And that was in March. And we were going to launch 2 days before we declared a state of emergency in the US, our original launch date. So we kind of had to reorient things around that and ended up launching a few weeks ago.
That's cool. So what happens, now that you've kind of spent that time with that fabric and you want to do the jacket because it's in line with your brand. What starts the process for your company? Is it sketching, drawing, just making stuff? Like what starts to happen in terms of making, I guess, like a prototype?
Most of it starts with, we start with just conversations about what niche we want to go after. And so like our whole business model is be in areas where there's no competition kind of thing. That's a pretty common technique for people who do sort of direct to consumer stuff. And so, that was one reason why we took wool towards the like everyday thing, because there's already a ton of companies that do wool for climbing or base layers or, a bunch of other applications. And so we really wanted to look out there and see where they're not great, all natural options. And it seemed to us like it was the sort of all day, every day, replace the Patagonia or the Columbia kind of plastic shell that most people wear, to work. And I think there's, there's like kind of the corporate uniform, anyway, it's kind of like jeans and a rainproof coat because it rains 9 months of the year here. So kind of just wanted to replace what we saw every day, which is that kind of style of jacket.
When you're putting together sort of, and it sounds like you're kind of putting together like a buyer persona to some degree, and this is happening sort of before you're starting to really think about, I guess diving in maybe even deeper, maybe a better way to describe it. So like, what are you standing back and imagining that buyer looking like, and how would you like maybe coach a startup company to think about that buyer persona? Because I think it's a crucial step that a lot of people miss. And obviously you guys have done a good job with it, but what are you kind of thinking in their mind? Like, age, what they read, what are you thinking about when you're putting that together?
I think Wooly is easy for us because the 3 people who started this company are basically in many ways our own buyer persona, and so are our friends. And so there's kind of it's not tough to get into the head of our customer because we kind of are our customer. It all started many years ago. Me and Mike, one of the co-founders, we both got woolen underwear for Christmas, and we were just like sitting around drinking beers and started talking about our underwear, and I was like, "You're not going to believe this underwear I got." And he's like, "I got the same thing." Came from, but to like really kind of get towards designing and nuts and bolts of a new product. Our first step is always kind of we just look around the market. We Google all of the brands that you see everywhere. We'll tend to buy a whole bunch of coats. So we'll just buy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different brands of coats. We get them all in the office. We tear them apart. We see what we like. We sort of critique fit and feature and function and everything. And, you almost kind of Frankenstein together your own coat. Inspiration of what you like. We tend to bring coats from home. It's like, hey, if we're going to make a coat, everybody bring your favorite coat from home that you wear all the time. And we'll kind of break that down. And, so it's a lot of inspiration. It's clothes. So there's not a whole lot of new stuff you can do. So a lot of times it's just pulling the best features and the best aspects from the stuff that you already have.
Sure. So after all that process and you kind of have it all narrowed down, what do you guys do to sort of Frankenstein that coat? Is it something that you guys sew together yourself? Is it working with a partner to sort of put together something? Is it just sketching it all out? Like, what does it look like at that point?
It's different every single time around. For the most part, what we'll do is we kind of end on one style or one, I'd say you call it inspiration piece that we really like, that we tend to say like, it's basically going to be this backbone of a coat, and then it's going to be this 10 different parts of it. And we'll take a bunch of those, and we have pattern making partners basically with our cut and sew facility, and we'll send it to them, and they deconstruct it, reconstruct a pattern out of it, and changes that we request, customize everything that we want as far as length and fit and finish and all that kind of stuff. And then we just cycle the prototype game from there. So they'll send us one, and we say yes, no, maybe so to a bunch of different things, and you keep going until you get something you really like.
How long does that process usually take? Like is it 3 or 4, 5 or 6? Does it take a ton? Is it, you mentioned it's about a year to get to a prototype for Kickstarter, but
yeah, I'd say every once in a while it's like one and done. You get the prototype in the mail and you're like, oh my God, they nailed it.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while it's like 12 rounds. So
yeah, it's all over the place.
I think it's hit or miss. I think, and I don't know exactly why that is. I think if I had to guess, I think it's because the guys we work with, the people they also work with, they make a lot more X than Y. And so if we send them pants and it's the first time, they're used to making shirts and underwear, then they have a lot to learn as far as how pants work.
Sure.
And so certainly and also the longer we're in business with them, they know how we like our shirts to fit and work. And, shirts now basically like we come up with a new shirt style and it's almost always just done. And we something new like this coat, that takes a year. It takes 3-4 rounds. Sometimes we go and visit them and spend a week just doing like quick prototyping rounds where we'll give them a bunch of feedback, wait 24 hours, see another prototype. And so it's a little bit of everything, but it can take months, easily.
And in that process, what is it that you're looking for or your team's looking for to say like, we got it, we're good. Mm-hmm. We want to move forward. Is it just something that you just kind of naturally feel or what are you thinking about at that point?
I think the big thing with us is that it's just fit and look. We have a lot of faith in our fabric and the sort of technology of of merino and, what that, why it's good and why people like it. But we really kind of, we have a hardcore audience of, active but urban, these people that kind of straddle a lot of worlds. They want to go hiking but mountain biking, and they also want to go out to restaurants and go to work, and they're looking for garments for everything, or they're traveling. I don't know if you've ever bag traveling. Merino is really big in that world, where it's like, bring one shirt that can do everything for 30 days that you could possibly think of. And so, we think of these really versatile garments. And so, our big thing is trying to make sure it works for a wide range of people. So, like I'm really tall, I'm 6'5". My co-founder Mike is like 6 foot. And our other co-founder Chris, he's a different height, but we all wear large and we all have different frames. And so, I was really obsessive about, does it look good on all of us? Like if we can't all wear large and it looks good, then we know we're probably not going to look good on some aspect or some segment of our customers. So we try really hard to make sure that our stuff is as versatile as possible within the limited size range you get. Because I think that's what gets you repeat customers. Like me personally, I find one pair of pants I like and I buy 10 pairs of them. So we can really nail that fit and feel.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's your background? Like, how did you get into designing clothes and making products like this?
I worked at Amazon back in the early 2010s. And so when I started there, I actually started working in the third-party marketplace group. And it was really common to have side hustles selling on Amazon. So I saw people doing that, and I got inspired, and I wanted to start a company. And so I called up my buddy, and we started another clothing company. And then we started Woolly. And, beyond kind of knowing the nuts and bolts of how Amazon worked, we didn't know anything else, and we just kind of figured it all along, all out as we went. And so, I think we've been lucky to have really awesome manufacturing partners along the way, people that'll work with us, and, we lean a lot on their expertise. And then we kind of just, you make it work, you Google stuff. There's a
lot of Googling.
A lot of Googling. There's a lot of good resources. There's a lot of just problem solving. So, all of it just kind of started from learning about Amazon and learning how e-commerce worked kind of fundamentally, and just kind of wanting to do something in that world.
And this is your second campaign, correct? Your second Kickstarter?
Second Kickstarter.
And how many products does Woolly have in the market right now?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think we're approaching something like 50, might be over 50 different styles now, between men's and women's and outerwear and accessories and stuff like that. But we started with just underwear back in 2012, and I've just sort of continually expanded over the years. Yeah, I think we're around 50 styles, and we sell only on Amazon and our own website and Kickstarter.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you, as a company, then decide what products should use a Kickstarter or shouldn't? Like, how do you guys internally decide stuff like that?
We basically only when we need to. Like, we couldn't have afforded to make this jacket with our own capital, or even probably with capital we'd be able to finance. And so, we had the idea for the jacket. We did all the design. We kind of got to the point of understanding how much it was going to cost. Wool is a really, really expensive base material. So, making a line of wool t-shirts, there's a ton of t-shirt companies out there that'll do, screen print this, screen print that. But a cotton blank is like $1.50. A wool blank is like $9. So it just costs a whole lot to start anything new with wool. And so for Kickstarter, we see it as a huge opportunity to help, get people aware of and supporting the brand. But we also absolutely, for big things like this, where it takes a big, huge MOQ, it's a whole new type of production for us. We just absolutely need the help.
That's cool. Well, let's flip over to the actual Kickstarter, because we actually haven't even mentioned why we're talking right now. So with 27 days to go, you're sitting at about 255,000, which when this airs next week, it'll be higher.
Hopefully.
A lot of over 1,100 backers. So a lot of backers. So what starts the process for you guys to know that you want to use Kickstarter, and what starts the conversation around, all right, what do we now need to launch this on Kickstarter? Prototypes, content, what are you starting to put together?
Excuse me. You said it's our second campaign. We did that first one to launch what we call the long haul pant about 1.5 years ago. And that was kind of our foray into, like, would Kickstarter work for our brand? We thought probably would. So that kind of, success there kind of just started our mind spinning of like, okay, great. Like, we have these big product ideas now. They don't have to be pie in the sky. Kickstarter is our way to get, because things like those pants or this coat, like, it honestly would take us 2 years of saving up profit to try and fund this stuff. So Kickstarter lets us kind of accelerate those, kind of more innovative product vehicles. And so once that happened, we started, our mind started spinning of like, we just got to keep looking for, like, what's the next big thing that we wouldn't have done for 5 or 10 years that maybe we can do sooner now that we have Kickstarter in our toolkit. So that's kind of like where the impetus for the jacket came from. And that's, now our brain is spinning. We got the next 2 or 3 already kind of spooled up. We're working on them. And once you realize the Kickstarter works as well as it does, and it's, it's so powerful for small business. And, we weren't sure how things were going to go with, the state of the world right now. I mean, it's just, everything's uncertain. We had no clue. We thought, maybe we launch and we'd have crickets. But it's still been successful, and people are still, good reception. So it kind of gives us faith that it's this sort of more durable model for us to keep trying new things.
So this question, I'm assuming a little bit, but did you guys adjust your video content because of the pandemic? Because the video starts with you kind of talking about small business and this new climate. Was that a pivot that you guys made when you delayed your launch?
Yeah, for sure. We spent about a month, like 5 or 6 weeks, I think, sort of trying to, like, just keep an eye on the market and be like, does this even make sense to try right now? And once we kind of decided, okay, like, maybe we'll go for it, our original video opening was just like real pump up, like, jackets are cool, merino was great. And I was like, that doesn't feel quite right. It's like, I think you gotta at least say something, to just, I don't know. It's just, it's an elephant in the room. I don't think it can go unsaid. So yeah, we definitely pivoted a little bit to just say something, but we didn't want to make it all about that.
Right.
Life must go on. So yeah, we did change a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a strong move on my end. It's one of the best pivot, or well, pivot may be the wrong word, but adjustments that I see happening, and it doesn't really take away. It's not like you dragged it out for 3 minutes, or it wasn't even like a sob story. It was just like, hey, here's a fact, and we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that was intriguing, and I want to talk about a little around the fine line you guys walk with humor and seriousness in your videos too, because I think that's a lot of companies come to us and they're like, we want to be funny in our video. We want everything to be funny. And it's, yeah, we've seen the purple pillow ads and we've seen, the squatty potties, but like you guys did a really good job of sort of walking that fine line. Is that something you guys are conscious about, of having a little bit of sense of humor in some of your marketing aspects?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, it's 3 guys working in a garage. That's, sometimes 4. And you just sit around and joke all day, and it's a pretty lighthearted place. And so I think all of us kind of want some of that in what we do, both in our product copy and our web page and our email and everything and our social media. And so, when we sat down and wrote our video script, our natural instinct is to just crack jokes and make fun. You also realize a lot of the stuff that's funny with 4 people that spend all their time together, doesn't play too well to us. So you kind of have to, it's this. You write a script, you sit on it for a week, you read it again, and it's not that funny. And then I think our big thing for us is that we do want it to be funny, but we also, it's kind of hard to. You need a lot of external input, so we're pretty aggressive about throwing it out to really diverse audiences. Friends of friends, stuff like that. To get feedback, like, does this make sense? Is it too inside baseball? Is it actually funny?
Right. Right.
A joke that we've told each other so many times that, we've lost all context. So yeah, right. we thought about that. It's definitely part of the strategy of making good content.
Yeah, that's cool. So, was there any metrics that you guys were hoping to hit in the pre-launch phase? Was it like an amount of emails you wanted to hit, or the amount of people kind of getting pixeled on Facebook? Was there anything that you guys were looking for data-wise before you hit the launch button? And we all know pre-launch is such an important factor. Was there anything you guys were we wanted to really hit this amount of emails, or anything along those lines?
Right. We didn't do any of that.
Okay.
I actually, I did a lot of research on pre-launch activities, and we have a pretty strong mail list from our own website and from our own customer segment, also from our previous Kickstarter. And so, in my mind, we made a call to just focus all our energy on building a great campaign, and figured that our existing customers would just basically carry the day. Because I've read a lot about the pre-launch stuff and how important it can be, but I've also read a lot about how you can invest a bunch of money, time, and effort, and send emails to 200,000 people and 50 convert.
Right.
So, I think, like I said, small team, you kind of really want to just invest in things that feel like they're super high potential of paying off. And we felt like putting all our effort into making a really good video and campaign and all the rest of it was probably the right way to go, instead of doing a huge upper funnel email gathering exercise. So that's what we did.
Gotcha. And has there been anything that stuck out in this campaign, maybe from the last campaign, that maybe we weren't expecting? Is there a country that's supporting you a lot, or, has there been anything that's just been kind of, wow, I wasn't expecting that?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be this successful. I was pretty unsure of how things would work, with everything going on, just especially because the rest of our sales channels, are certainly really far down from expectations for this time of year. So I think just the kind of overall success has been a, very nice surprise. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything that's kind of been, a big kind of standout surprise. I think, I think if anything, we've been struggling to kind of make social ads, the payoff there work out. And I don't know if I'm going to have a final verdict on that until the campaign's over and we try a few more things. We're sort of trying some new stuff right now. I think in the past it's been it's been kind of the easy route to Kickstarter success is throw a ton of money at Facebook and Instagram ads.
Right.
It seems like that might not be quite the simple equation that it used to be.
Yeah, I can tell you as somebody who is in that world all day, it is not.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And as soon as I feel like I got something that's working, it changes. So, it is next to impossible to scale that stuff right now. I don't know.
That's
I
the
work
tough
on
part.
it all day.
It'll work for a little bit, and then it just kind of peters out.
Yeah, I'm like high-fiving everybody. I'm like, we got it, man. Really good week. Something changed. I don't know. I didn't touch anything, but it changed. So I believe that's their whole business model, though. The Facebook
keeping us on our toes.
Yep, that's what. Pay more money, spend more money, figure it out.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. Well, with 27 days to go, what is sort of the mindset around scaling this thing up even more, keeping it going? Like what's happening behind the scenes to keep the energy up?
Good question. We are spending a lot of time thinking about that right now. We actually went with a longer campaign to kind of give ourselves a little more time to try different things this time around. 30 days goes really fast. When you have, for our first campaign, it just felt like it was over in a flash. And so right now we are trying to spinning up 2 new social agencies. So we're kind of, and we never used them in our previous campaign, so both of those are new for us. We've never used 2 agencies concurrently. It's always been sort of an exclusive one-on only situation. Right. We're going to try some new backer lists. None of the stuff is too revolutionary. We did do one thing I built for this campaign, which we didn't do before, is we built a whole social referral campaign. So basically, anybody who creates a link and shares it and gets some of it back gets $20 for every person that backs based on their share.
Yep.
We've put that out there a lot. It's driven some traffic, but not a whole lot. So I want to kind of had 30 days to try and make that thing work. Took a lot of effort to spin up, so I'm hoping it pays off. And then we haven't really yet pulled the PR trigger in any way. So even being on your podcast is the first step into that direction, and investigating some other sort of big, PR-ish kind of things. I don't know if there's other podcasts you can maybe get on or sponsor, or, influencer type marketing. We haven't had big success with that in the past, but might be looking to try that in a different way, instead of, less micro influencer, more macro.
Right.
It's a little hard right now, just, with everything with the social, trying to figure out if there's going to be a return on investment on some of this stuff. You kind of just have to take your shot and see what happens. So that's kind of what we have left.
Gotcha. So after this campaign ends and you've got that 2 weeks before all the money starts to drop and you start to, start these next processes, what starts happening to get the coats in backers' hands? What do you guys start doing?
Yeah, so the biggest priority for us is we got to get surveys out quick, so that we can get final counts for manufacturing to our manufacturing partner, because wool in general takes a very, very long time to produce. So we have about a 5-month, 6-month lead time on garment production. So for us to deliver for winter, which we really want to do, and that's our current campaign promise. This campaign ends in late May. We got to get those unit counts over to our factory like as soon as possible, early June, so that we have a chance of getting those things to, because then we have a whole fulfillment process that takes, 3 to 4 weeks on the back end. So, actually, it feels like a huge rush, the Q4 June kind of thing for us, with this campaign. So, it's a huge priority to get, the data we can to get manufacturing going, because they got to order fabric. The fabric takes a really long time to produce and dye, and then everything else that comes after that. So that's priority number 1 for us.
How do you handle, for a product like this, how do you handle fitting for people and returns through a Kickstarter? I've worked on a couple shoe campaigns and stuff that it can get out of control quickly with people not doing measurements. How do you guys sort of handle that?
I'd say we learned a lot of lessons from our last one, which was pants. We ended up with 66 different size combinations, with width and length, and honestly, it was a nightmare. It almost killed me. And So because of that, we went very simple in sizes this time. We're not offering any customization. We realized, or I did some analysis in the last one, that we bent over backwards to try and get everybody in the door on our campaign. And, you realize that I think it was like 89% of our backers came from 17% of the size selections. And so, it became very clear, very quick, that you spend all your effort, all your time, to just get 10 more people in the door. It's just, as much as we want to get everybody, a garment if we can, it's just, you can't do it. So,
right.
Really simple this time around. We're fortunate enough that we have a long history of selling shirts and jackets and hoodies. And so we have sizing on that stuff pretty dialed. So it's less of a huge concern. We still have some things to dial in, and, we're not quite final on design, but, and then, the whole process of exchanges, we kind of realized that international exchanges for size, is impossible.
Yeah.
You go bank really quick trying to ship stuff to the world for people that, want a 32 instead of a 34 for their pants. And so,
right.
We made a really clear return and exchange policy this time, that we can only really handle it for U.S. backers, because that's where all our inventory sits. So we're happy to, if it makes sense. It just, it often doesn't make sense to ship things all over the world a second time. So
right.
Kind of had to be. I think we just simplified everything this time around. I think the first, we're just excited. We want to do everything for everybody, and we realized it doesn't make sense. So we're not.
Yeah, it's tough on the business. Yeah. So what does this next 24 months look like? Is this a product that you see, obviously going to Shopify or Amazon? Is it going to that route? Is it making more of it? Is there a version 2? Do you see yourself making more coats? What does the next couple of years look like?
Yeah, for sure. Basically the way this all works is that we make all the Kickstarter runs, and then we get overage on that we then turn into our sort of standard for sale on Amazon and our website inventory. I think the big question for us, and also for this coat, was, this is the most expensive thing we've ever sold as a brand. And so sort of seeing what our customer thinks about that price point, was another sort of question mark going into this campaign. And I'd say it's been well received. And so I think we still have a question mark of, can we sell that on our website and on Amazon? Amazon is not historically for us been a place for high dollar point items to sell well. But our website, we have more power on our website, more customers on our website all the time. So I think we have a big experiment kind of internally to see, can we switch from $50, $60 shirts to a $250 to $300 coat?
Right. And
if it works this time around, then for sure we really want to, keep going, because we do think it's a really cool technology. It's stuff, I wear it every day. I would love to keep this in my life, but ultimately customers tell us what will work and what won't work. So we'll see what happens.
It's cool. That's awesome. Well, I've been ending my podcast with a series of questions that, because of the all of us being stuck inside. So if you got time for it, I'll give you a couple of lightning round type questions here. So my first one is, what have you been watching on the old TV there?
Oh man, I just finished watching Waco.
Oh yeah, that's on our list. For was it good?
Yeah, it's really good. And I've been watching Mindhunter.
Okay, yeah.
And Ozark. So I guess I've been watching nothing but dark shows now that I think.
Yeah, we just finished Ozarks, and I think Waco is next on ours, because Ozark was just like a.
Yeah, pretty rough.
Yeah, there was a few nights where we watched an episode, and I was like, I got to watch something really light, because my anxiety, I'm just like, oh my god, what did I just watch? Yeah,
those episodes are heavy.
Yeah, they're really heavy. Yeah, super heavy. All right, how about are there any movies that you watched? Not TV shows, just maybe movies.
What have I? The last movie I rewatched. I keep finding myself rewatching old movies that give positive nostalgia. So maybe that's where I'm inserting some happiness into my life. I just watched Singles.
Great movie. That's a great movie.
So I'm born and raised in Seattle, and
yeah,
I think a Pearl Jam song came on or something, and I was like, oh my god, this is from the Singles soundtrack. And then we got to watch Singles.
Yeah.
So I watched that last night. Yeah.
That's good. That's a great movie to go back to. All right. How about, are there any podcasts you're listening to right now? Obviously outside of mine, but anything else out there that you're listening to?
It's funny. I think yours is actually the only one I've listened to.
Nice. I did it.
I'm not really a podcast guy. I try to be it. I just get through them. And so when you emailed me, I watched a few of yours. And so I think, honestly, I can say that yours is the only one I've listened to.
Nice. All right. I did it.
I got that great. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. How about, are there any books are you reading any books?
Yeah, I just started one. And it's pretty interesting so far. It's called The Biography of the Dollar.
Okay.
I've been really into, currencies. I'm kind of dabbling in cryptocurrency and that whole world and trying to how that's going to affect our future, especially with the uncertain state of our federal currency and everything that's going on. Yeah. So I'm just trying to learn more. It's just a whole book about the U.S. dollar and its history and how it works in the international markets and stuff. So, it's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I just jumped into the Discord world because there's a lot of virtual currency companies that have these big communities on Discord because they can't run Facebook ads or they can't do marketing on any social media, so they create these communities on Discord. So I joined like one's called Vertcoin, and I'm following all these guys to see how to run Discords more effectively for potentially crowdfunding. That's been my big when I've been locked away. Yeah. Well, I work in a lot of in equity crowdfunding, so we've got a lot of CBD companies that are, and I can't do any marketing, so I've got to find new strategies to like, where am I marketing? So how can I build a community? So
I may have to ping you offline. We have a fertilizer company that started in that world, and we can't market anywhere, and we were trying to figure out what to do with it. So
there you go. Build a Discord community. Cool. Awesome. Well, where can people find out more information? How can they dive in? Obviously, outside the Kickstarter, I'll have all that in the show notes. But where should people kind of dive in and learn about your world?
Subscribing to our newsletter on our website is the best way. We do all kinds of deals. Everything new that we do is announced there first. And then follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Everything fast follows to there. I think it's just facebook.com/woollyclothing.
Cool.
And our website is www.woolly.clothing. And we try and bring a lot of new stuff to the world all the time. And so follow us there and you'll see what we're up to.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day here. Great conversation. And I just had some friends look at me in the mirror like I was a zoo animal. So you might have saw me like, whoa. Yeah. Because I'm at my office. I'm the only one at my, I only come up here to do these episodes. But, the windows are open. It's nice out. And I got my friends just staring at me. I was like, hello. It's weird. Really weird.
Nothing strange happening here.
Yeah, it was cool. All right, James. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and great campaign. I recommend everybody go check it out. I mean, you guys are absolutely crushing it, and you got a lot of time left. And this has the potential to be a very, very big campaign. So kudos to that, and good luck in the future, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.